Good morning from super humid, hot Madison, Alabama. So, considering and musing the question, what if, in 2009, what if Jeremy Lopez, president of IdentityNetwork.net, what if he had never obeyed that nudge to give me, I don't know what that light is. Let me stand up. What if he had never obeyed that nudge to give me D.E. Pauk's, he gave me 3 CD teachings on universalism. I think to myself, I may still be in the same unhealthy Pentecostal cult that I had just spent 23 years in. Jeremy and I were close friends for 4 years, and he had never really. We always discussed the prophetic, and we joked around a lot. We did a couple prophetic conferences called Mystery in the Deep and Mystery in the Deep 2 in Phoenix, Arizona. I flew him out there, and so I was like, we were ministry partners, but he had never really brought up the universal Christ mind, Carlton Pearson's inclusion gospel, and D.E. Pauk took it even further at that time anyway, especially. And so I'm like, some things that are recorded or written are lifesavers, absolutely a treasure. And so, anyway, jump forward to 2025, and somebody who had been a prophet in the Pentecostal circuit in South Africa, who also deconstructed, along with D.E. Pauk, along with myself, Jeremy to a large degree. He has compiled about 8 or 9 of my YouTube teachings, the transcript. The transcripts aren't always perfect, but they're close enough to where, anyway, the point is he created a book. It's called The Works of Doug Wentz, and it really focuses on what I'm calling the Third Testament. So just as I do feel down in my bones that just as D.E. Pauk's work really created an exodus to help people deconstruct from fundamentalist religion, that this book deconstructs from the landing place that I call midway. The midway between, you have to have a midway path between point A and point B to get to point B all in one piece. And I feel like this is like the next step after the universal Christ mind, where you see the God core in all religions. But if all the religions are leading you to that same spirit over soul reality, then we still have a step to go to spirit soul fusion to create the third beingness. You know how the sperm and the egg create a third person, man and a woman, and then there's baby being born is not the man, it's not the woman, but it has traits of both. And so my teachings are very provocative, very explicit on that third beingness that evolves when you allow the spirit, the cosmic self and the personal self or Eve's critical thinking skills, the forbidden fruit to Adam. She recreates spirit. When he ate that fruit, which was the next level, the rabbis who were nationalistic, using Yahweh for nationalistic purposes, supremacy purposes as a chosen people, they used that in a way that when they sought the visions of God, they received the visions of God, such as the Genesis narrative. But whatever you receive in your filters of the paradigm that you're in at that time. These are the same men who said, it's better to burn the Torah than to give it to a woman. These are the same people who Ezra, the prophet priest Ezra, he had the final compilation of what Jesus grew up with as the scriptures. There were the Elohists, the Yahwehists, and Ezra scribal company. So Ezra, in Ezra chapter 10, he found out that some of the men married non-Jewish women, 120 to be exact. So he had them divorce, and he sent 120 women and probably 200 children out into the desert to die. He deported them, just the way Trump is deporting for the same reason. They're non-white. 70% of these Mexicans, South American people, have never committed a crime. Elon Musk took 7 years. That doesn't mean he was here illegally, but his process of citizenship took 7 years. And these people are going through the legal process. They're not criminals, but they're being sent to concentration camps. And that's exactly what Ezra did in Ezra chapter 10. He deported the non-Jewish women because they were not of his ethnicity. So I take the spirit energy field that's in the Bible and turn it right side up, because it's in the inverse in many cases. And so that creates the third testament, because the second was the in-between place. In between Moses and MLK is Jesus. And if you can receive it that way, you go beyond just the universal Christ mind and all the religions and go to a new era, a new aeon of mankind altogether. So if you want, this is a free book. It's so provocative, I'm not going to charge people. Now, if it's on your heart to give a donation, you can give that to my PayPal, which is DougieWorld7 at Yahoo, DOUGIE number 7 at yahoo.com. That's my PayPal. But now, bear with me here. To get the free book, email me at my social email, which is DougWentz7 at Gmail. Doug Wentz, DOUGWENTZ number 7 at Gmail. So if you want a free book, Mario Botha's compilation of my YouTube teachings, about 8 or 9 of them. It's called the Works of Doug Wentz, free PDF. I'll send it to you by email. You can open it up, save it to your Google Drive, and it's really, really powerful as a book, maybe more so than the videos that are broken up. So check that out. It may be a healthy transition for some. It may be something to store away for another day. For some, like people heard Paul and they were divided. Some said, we will hear you again. We will hear you again of this matter. Because what Paul was bringing to these Jewish people were, it was transgressive. He said in his third heaven encounter in 2 Corinthians 12 that he heard things in the third heaven that were transgressive and unlawful, a contrast to what he had grown up with in synagogue. And so the next testament is always offensive to the previous testament for those who were fully possessed and fully dedicated to that previous testament. Because the Christ always dwells in a light that no man can see nor approach until you become it. And then when you become it, now you're in it, and now you see it and approach it. You approach the light that you once couldn't see or touch. So it's always a becoming process. And then once what I'm bringing forth, once that's done, once what the secular activists are bringing forth, once that's done, then there'll be yet a fourth testament, and on we go. But I do believe that just as the things I taught when I was a prophet of Christ, the things I taught between 2003 and 2012, Kay Fairchild is teaching those things and gaining a huge following in 2025. So I do believe the same thing is going to happen again. That the things I'm teaching now with very little following will amass a huge following through some other people 10 years from now. Okay, thanks you guys. I love you.